I'm Shiva.
I'm Sandy.
And this is
Our Relaxing Hobby. Hello.
Hi.
Tonight's episode is going to be our spring cleaning,
Spring
gardening. Yeah, we'll go with that. We
Yeah.
should have done this as a drink like a fish episode.
Yeah, I agree. We really should have. But we just did a drink like a fish.
It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters for this because it's been ugly.
Don't make me go break out the...
Yeah, no, we're fine. We started the process several years ago trying to kill the sawgrass in this yard. Yeah. And it's an ongoing process, but we think we finally figured it out after how many years of us playing?
God, forever.
But
I mean, first of all, sawgrass
Yeah.
is it's a tall grass that gets to be over 6 feet tall, and it has this really sharp edges. So if you try to walk through it, it's going to cut you up to ribbons.
If you try to pull it up with your hands, you slice your hands.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I don't know why, but for some reason our property is the only place it really likes.
Yeah, it literally the neighbors have none.
Yeah, it literally stops at our property line.
Yeah, it literally has taken over this yard though, so we've been working on it. But we finally figured out we're going to talk about that tonight. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the easy stuff. Let's start with the
easy.
Well, okay, easy to talk about.
Easy, right?
It's not easy for me. I've done very little. It's all Shiva.
It's been all me so far.
It's all been pretty much. I did one day and I was down for like 3 days after that.
Yeah, you're dead in a couple days though.
Yeah, it's ugly. You know.
Well, we had several things going on at once.
There are several things.
We had the sawgrass problem. We had the vegetable garden problem. We have the fact that some of our koi will not listen to me when I tell them not to grow any larger until we can get the big pond that we're planting in the back. And they're all like,
yes.
So we had that problem, and then rescuing 2 more because we're idiots.
And several goldfish and anyway.
So we're running into all these things. Yeah, all these things are coming together on us. So it's like, okay, we really have to just go crazy this spring and just take care of a lot of these problems.
Right. So let's start with the simplest of what you've had to do out there, which is the garden boxes. Mm-hmm. The boxes. Well, she's been making boxes, and we've been making the tableau gardens in them.
Right. Let's explain the tableau gardens.
Yeah. That's and I'm sure we've talked about it in the past. That's the gnome garden.
Well, you started with the gnome garden.
Right.
And last year, Sandy put her gnome garden in, and you guys saw how I had my little
tried to kill it.
Jasmine garden right next to it with dinosaurs trying to eat her gnomes.
Still does.
One thing we've realized is that we had next to it we had flower buds, and we had all these little boxes with flowers in them, which looked really pretty until the sawgrass decided that it could plant its ass in there too.
Yeah, if it wasn't sawgrass, it was weeds.
Yeah.
So we were constantly weeding, and let me tell you, weeds in Florida are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Besides sawgrass, even when the sawgrass wasn't growing, which it did grow everywhere.
I mean, we're talking.
It had 2 inches of 2 inches of dirt, and it was sawgrass growing.
We are talking Evil Dead levels of vicious plants.
Yeah. So we've kind of changed our minds, and we're making more of the tableau gardens like we have now. There's going to be an Indian Eskimo something garden that your mom's creating. There is a Christmas village starting. Her mom and I are making a Christmas village, which we'll show you some footage of what Shiva's done to us already.
Yeah, because of me.
Yeah,
so
and then
we've been doing the aquatic animal ones,
and then we're making.
And we have the angels and the tombstones in my rose garden.
Right, and then we have the fantasy garden.
And the fantasy garden.
And these are all tableau gardens.
And then I've got Medusa, who actually does have some plants in hers, but she has the water feature.
Right, and then we're also going to make a movie crossover, epic crossover movie craziness. We're going to put DC, Marvel, Star Wars, all kinds of stuff in one of the gardens. Right. Just make it crazy. Just make it fun. A lot of different characters.
And now,
which is scary because I can't even imagine what she was going to do to try to kill all that.
Alien,
I'm sure. But
the garden boxes are actually a really simple trick that I figured out how to do last year, and I did them very cheap. If you try to go out and buy garden boxes, it's going to cost you like $100, if not more, depending on how big you want them.
Right. Yeah, I saw some really nice ones. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Let me think of it. No, never mind. I saw the price. Mm-hmm. It's like Shiva can make that.
Yeah. What I figured out, especially since we're doing these at ground level, but you could also raise them. I have a few out there, like the ones I just built for the vegetables and whatnot, that are actually 2 feet high. But all I do is I get what you call landscape timbers, which you can get them for like maybe $6 or $7 a piece. They're 8-foot pieces of rough wood that's smooth on 2 sides, and they're pressure treated for being outdoors. And what I do is I cut that into fours in order to make,
The
4 2-foot pieces.
The corners.
To make the corner areas. And then what I take is, you can get fence boards for for not picketed, but they're kind of rounded.
Yeah, they're just
They're
fence board,
raw,
6 foot. Yeah.
raw 6-foot fence boards. They're really cheap. I get them for like maybe $2.20 a piece.
Right.
And I basically just use those to
Make a box.
go right up the sides on each one of the corners, and that forms the box. And I can make them all different types of sizes, and then if you wanted to add a bottom to it, you just do the same thing with fence boards on the bottom.
And then we figured out a way to
really cheap way to do it.
And then we figured out the cheap way to make the so that the weeds don't grow through that. And that was actually a fluke. I saw a show, and I almost didn't mention it, but now, God, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
The lady was a landscaper, and she was talking about instead of using all the expensive landscaping plastic tarp
all the stuff we've used before.
that we've used before, that it literally doesn't work in Florida. It literally works its way through it. I don't even know how, but it does.
They have little saws.
But she said she uses cardboard. She tears up cardboard and puts it down so that there's no space in there, and then she just literally puts the mulch or whatever right on top of it, and she doesn't have weeds. So we did a test. We did a little section,
Yeah,
and
we did that about 6 months ago.
yeah, and it worked, and there's been no weeds, no sawgrass, no nothing growing through the cardboard. So, and we put walking blocks on top of that, stepping stones, and it's working out great. We still have to put stuff, sand or something in there, but we're trying to do the whole yard in it. That we're so it's a work in progress, but it works amazingly. So we put those in the boxes, and then we put something on top of it, like sand or
like
rock.
what I did with my rose garden. Like I have a big box that I built for my roses, and what I did was I took the cardboard and put it around the roses, and then put the I have decorative rocks on top of that.
Right.
So all I have to do is when I water, I have to make sure that the water's going where I know that there's no cardboard around each of the roses. But it's looking good.
Yeah.
I've had that out there for almost a week now,
No
and
weeds.
no weeds.
Woohoo! No weeds. Weeds are the bane of our existence. So that's one thing we're doing, and then this year we're going to try again. And Shiva's got a little different plan of the vegetable garden that her mom wants. It's going to be a raised garden.
Yeah. Last year we had.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, last year we were doing so well with our
They looked
vegetable
great.
garden.
Yeah.
And then the local wildlife, particularly the deer, noticed it.
Yeah. It
And
took them a hot minute.
All of a sudden, all of our plants were gone.
All of them.
And
They
the
came
deer
in
were,
like 2 days. They
and
were
the
gone.
deer were
Everything.
rather fat. So this year, what I did was I built 2-foot tall boxes for the raised garden, and then I put a 4-foot piece of lattice work behind each one, so it's building a fenced area because I put
Hopefully
the boxes
that
right
works,
next to each other.
and the raccoons don't, because I can just see the raccoons coming around the fence, laughing at it and eating things.
Yeah, we'll see
what happens. It's going to be we've got to film. Do we have any of that on film? The boxes you built?
Oh, I'm gonna get this tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have them. We'll show you.
We'll show you.
But,
yeah, it's very cute. Very cute. She's done a lot. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, it's still a work in progress. So please acknowledge. You have to acknowledge that the ground's not all the way done yet, but we're getting there. It's a little bit at a time.
But we figured since it's that time of year, we might be able to give you guys some ideas if you have any problems that we've been having. These are the solutions we're coming up with.
Right, and it does work. Like I said, the cardboard definitely works, and it's a cheap, especially if you get as many shipments as we get here.
Yeah, Amazon's our friend.
Amazon Chewy.
Yeah, Chewy.
And then
what I use is like the cat food that I get.
It comes in like a 12-inch box.
In a box. So I saved all those, and she used those to line one of the boxes.
Yeah, everything anything that works.
Another thing for drainage.
Because they work.
Drainage.
Yeah.
For the vegetable garden, since that's the only one that we're going to have to be filling up with nice fertile dirt, which I'll get to the fertile dirt here in a minute. But for the vegetable gardens, we knew that we were going to have to fill those with dirt, and we can't just, keep them low to the ground and throw cardboard and call it a day.
Right.
So Sandy came up with water bottles.
I had seen a show where the guy used water bottles and soda cans as for drainage underneath the dirt, because it takes longer to get through it and it doesn't cause flooding and this whole thing. He had this whole. I'm sure Gareth could explain it all to you, but it looked really interesting, and it was just a drainage thing. So we have a lot of soda bottles and water bottles here that we drink, and so we took a whole bunch of those and lined the whole bottom of all of the vegetable things, and so hopefully we'll see if that works. I think it worked a little bit last time. We've done it before.
Yeah, we did it.
And with the last year, it worked great for the vegetables. It's just until the deer ate them all. So it does work.
Yeah,
so that's just a cheap way to get aeration
Yeah.
and
Now,
so
with
you know.
with the animals, another thing that Mom wants us to do is put a lot of wind chimes up there, which means it's going to sound like crazy out there.
Yeah, we're gonna
in the
try
winter,
that and
but
see
we'll
if that
try
works. See if that works to scare them. These deer are pretty bold and they're not afraid of us.
Mm-hmm.
They literally walk right up on the deck. They walk in the like Shiva was in the garage in the barn.
Yeah, I was in
And
the
the
barn
deer
working.
literally
One
stuck its head in to
like,
see what was
you
going
doing?"
on, so it wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of us. They know we're not going to hurt them. They like my dog. Like I said, last year one of them brought its baby for my dog to babysit while I went and ate. 100 yards away, it's eating, and the baby's laying there by my pit bull.
You do realize that our whole household is like this fucked up Disney movie, right?
It is terrible. And you know the worst part is I had that on my camera and I didn't save it anywhere. And then when I lost the camera 2 or 3 days later, but anyway.
Oh, that was-
So I don't have the one shot I took of this dog with this deer, but regardless.
Yeah.
But no, it's now. And now the fun thing that she was doing, mostly, you know, is she's
Fun.
decided to make the pond out there that had goldfish.
Yeah.
She's decided to expand that to the
Well, I was going to get a little bit into the fish poop thing first before I got into
the fish poop thing?
Yeah, the fertilizer.
We
how
want
we're
to talk about fertilizer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because we're
fine.
talking about the
Let's talk
damn
about fish
gardens.
poop.
Yeah, we're talking about the
Oh,
the vegetable garden.
Okay.
And this is something that, you know, believe me, I wanted to backhand my mother the other day. She's like, "Oh, I need to get lots of the Miracle Grow soil because it has fertilizer in it." And it's like, okay, what I have been doing all this time while we've been working on stuff, and what I do about every 2 months is I muck out my sump, which is, you know,
Fish
a
poop.
good, you know, big buckets full of fish poop. And I put it in a composting area.
Yeah.
So it just sits there and I mix it up with the sand and the porous soil and whatnot, and it super fertilizes it. So I use that with my roses, I use it with all my
It works
plants.
great, yeah.
So if you have a koi pond or anything like that and that you have to muck out the sump every now and then, mix that in with the poured soil into a container. I mean, you can use a garbage can. What I use is I built a tall box for it, but mix that up with the poor soil and you have really good fertilized soil that you can use for your plants.
Right. And what I was saying is even if you don't have a big pond or you don't have goldfish that create massive quantities of poop, the white filter, like a lot of people have those over the tank edge filters that you take the white thing out and you end up throwing it away or you rinse it out. Rinse it out in a bucket. You know, save that gunk that you have in there. Instead of throwing it away, save that, add a little bit of dirt, save it over time. You're going to have the same kind of fertilizer, maybe not to the quantity that we have, but it is a great fertilizer for your plants. You can use it in your house, you can use it outside in the plants to fertilize them. I mean, the stuff is amazing, even the nastiness inside your tank.
Now here's another trick, and this is just for when you do regular water changes. If you have an aquarium and you're doing your regular water changes, save the water,
Yeah.
throw it out in your yard.
On your grass,
on your grass or whatnot.
or in your
What we
plant,
do-
like yeah, we
Yeah,
water
what
the
we do
plants.
is we have a couple PVC pipes that we put in and have it going all the way out to our front yard. So when we do the tank change or water changes on the tanks and the pond in here, we send all the water out to the yard and we have the greenest grass.
Yeah, and then it was funny because your husband was complaining because he had to drive his car through the driveway, and the driveway is right on the edge of where the water goes, and he's like, it's just all overgrown. It drives me crazy. I mean, but it's beautiful grass. It looks great. It's just really high right now because we haven't had a chance to mow it.
What we're probably going to end up doing is working out some more of the piping and drilling some holes in it so it kind of acts like a
Yeah,
like
it acts
a
like an
server.
actual. But yeah, I mean, there's different ways to do it. I mean, the fish water is great for plants. Just you know, yucky fish water that you usually would just throw away. Use it for your plants, use it for your grass, throw it out there. It really is a great fertilizer.
Yeah, I mean, we have no problem growing things.
Yeah,
we have
growing
a problem with
things
things that get eaten, but we do
Yeah,
have no
growing
problem
them,
things.
actually growing them is not a problem.
Right.
So,
So
yeah, try
that's
that.
just a tip for anybody who has an aquarium and wants to start a garden or has houseplants even.
Houseplants, it works on houseplants because we use it on the houseplants. So when I clean mine out, because what I do is I suction the gunk out of my tank. And
Yeah,
then
you use the vacuum.
Yeah, and then I take that and I throw that water out on the plant, put it in, I feed the plants out there because it's a lot of gunk in my 55-gallon that I suck out every day, every week, once a week. So
I mean, you might worry about smell, but honestly, you don't. If it's
I've
outside.
I've never had a smell.
Yeah. And now with indoor plants, what you might want to do is take it and mix it
Mix it
with
with
the soil.
dirt. Yeah, I say mix it with dirt. Don't just throw it on top.
Yeah.
A little bit of water is fine, but not the gunk itself.
Yeah.
The water is good
The
though.
water's good. You honestly will not be smelling you won't
Yeah.
be smelling a fishy smell. Now outside you don't care. You just toss it out there. You're not going to smell it.
Right, you're not gonna smell it. So there's another trip for the yard.
Yeah.
Say recycle everything you can, including fish poop. Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we thoughtful? Saves money on the fertilizer though.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I was looking at how much even like regular old potting soil costs. It's like $6-7 a bag, and it's like, why don't I just get a poor quality dirt, mix the koi shit in it, and boom! All of a sudden, it's better than the stuff that you can get at the store.
Probably is.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then we're not talking about fish poop now.
No, I think
we can talk about fish. We can talk about fish poop all day.
Yeah.
And then her next project, Shiva's next project, is to expand the ponds or connect the ponds.
Connect the ponds. Now outside, you see footage of our goldfish pond, which is our big. It's about 800-gallon pond out there, and then there's a bridge that looks like it's holding over the water, but it's actually separating the two ponds. And then there's a
two
second
separate
pond,
and the second pond is
and
much
the second
more
pond
shallow.
is much shallower, and it was used for growing plants.
Right.
Well, since we added the circular pond last year out front, we have plenty of places to put plants. What we don't have places to put are these fish that keep trying to grow on us a lot faster than I
And the
expected.
fish that we're collecting along the way.
Yes.
My bad.
So, yeah.
Twice now, my bad.
Right. So between the rescue missions and the fact that we do have those little extra koi we weren't counting on when we had the accidental breeding a couple years ago, we are realizing that our fish are starting to get a little overcrowded in the 1,000-gallon. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and rework those two ponds, turn them into one big pond. And
So that way the koi and some of the goldfish are already out there, and then the koi, some of the koi, not all the koi, don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
There's going to be about what, 7, 8 koi,
About
7 or 8 koi max out there in that pond with the goldfish.
Right.
So
basically what we're doing is we're building it 4 feet deep. It's basically we're doing it a half and half. Half of it will be underground, so 2 feet underground and 2 feet overground.
which Shiva has to build the walls.
Yes, building the walls has been fun.
The only thing I helped her with was pulling the old pond liners out. She's done everything else. I can't even pretend I did anything else.
Basically how I'm doing this is I'm using a lot of physics as my friend here, because I'm dry stacking the concrete blocks. I'm not mortaring them in because I do need it to be changeable. Just in case. You never know what's going to happen. So I needed it to be removable if we ever got to that. I've done this before on a much smaller scale. And I thought, okay, in order to do this at a big scale, what I've been doing is I put the first 2 layers in ground.
Underground, yeah. Underground.
And that way when we put the liner, the water will push out and hold them in place. Now when I go above ground, I have to make sure that I have something to brace each wall. The first thing I'm doing is I'm doing a poor man's rebar system.
Yeah.
And that is, I know it's hilarious, but I have
Hey, it works, whatever.
Yeah, I have all these thick PVC pipes that was from an art project from like 20 years ago that have been sitting in my storage thing forever.
Yeah.
And so I cut those down into 2-foot pieces in order to use those as like a poor man's rebar. They'll be going in between the
cinder blocks.
in the cinder block holes, in between 2 at a time, in order to help stabilize it a little bit more. On 3 sides of the pond, I can build the ground up enough to either the decks hold them in place,
right,
or the ground is high enough where it holds them in place. But I have a 4th area where there's nothing. It's just plain old flat ground.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing a double wall on that particular side where it'll be 2.
We'll have to get some video of this.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have a whole
layers
lot because we're taking pictures, but she's out there working and I'm working in the house because
we're gonna have plenty of video back downstairs. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to get you some.
I'm doing a double wall on that side in order to help give it more stability.
Right.
Against the, because you figure each gallon of water is about 8 pounds to us. So when you're talking, this pond is probably going to end up being about at least 1,500 gallons, if not more. That's a lot of weight. So we're really
finagling and hoping.
Finagling it, and the side that has that doesn't have anything bracing it is also my shallow end. So basically, I'm building it so the water level itself is only going to be about 2 feet on the shallow end, and then goes deeper into the 4-foot area which is the main.
Still going to be plenty of depth for the fish, but it's still something Shiva's got to figure out how to do and do it safely.
Right, and on top of it all, we have this damn tree.
There's a tree right in the
middle. That the bridge used to go across right to the tree. So now I have to work like cut out, like I'm playing Tetris here, trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. So it's kind of
Because
like
God forbid you take the tree down.
oh my God, just trying to get through one
Yeah,
of
I
those
know.
roots.
The roots of this tree are just massively in the ground. They're happy there. They're not coming out
Yeah.
easy.
Plus the tree offers shade and
Yeah, they'll
protections
say it
from
does,
and protection
And we can
from
use the tree
birds.
to put the lights up again like we did for the birds.
So basically, we're going to be making like this Greek C-shaped, you know.
It's kind of U-ish, but
Yeah, kind of like a U, blocky U, like
Yeah.
a rune or something. But that's
we'll just see
basically
what
what
rune
we're working
that.
on.
But
I don't think it is. That's not an actual rune. If it was upside down, it would be. But it means like movement and journey.
see, there you go.
But
Movement and journey. That's what we're doing.
yeah.
But that's the big project, and then we still have to put all of the blocks down for the walkways. We still have to finish things, a
We're
lot of
also
things.
repairing the deck.
Then the deck has to be repaired. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the decks.
Some of the deck boards are getting a little bit soft, so it's time to replace them and
Yeah.
double up on the sealer.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot going on, and then my mother's going to be planting flowers everywhere because, of course, she is.
But you did limit her to.
Yeah, I
you
did.
did limit her to. She has some
perennials.
to perennials, but she also has some the hanging box.
Yeah,
hanging,
I got her some hanging baskets.
hanging baskets, and then there's some standalone things she can put them in safely.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with. My biggest concern is it's a little too soon for the flowers, but she couldn't resist. I guess.
Well, yeah, the bees are out already.
The bees are out.
The
so
bees are mad at us right now.
Yeah, the bees are very angry. Let me tell you, we were doing some work in the yard, and they
We
were
get
not
these
happy.
bumblebees that are
These
really
bumblebees
upset at
who
us.
have a nest somewhere in the ground on the side
But,
over
Yeah,
here.
by the Medusa.
They were not pleased that we were invading their yard, moving things around, and there's no flowers that they like. They apparently don't want the roses.
Yeah, I kept directing them at the roses. Like, look, the roses are in bloom. They're like, well, where is everything else?
And I wish I could get you a video of these bees. They literally hover over your head and give you dirty looks. I'm gonna try to get one because they don't come at you. They don't attack. They just
Yeah,
kind of
they're just-
hover right here.
They're just regular bumblebees.
And they don't bother you. They're just annoying. And they're just kind of telling you, we don't like what you're doing. And you're like, okay, come on. Can you go away? There's a rose right over there. They're like, no, we don't know what you're doing in their yard. We don't like it. And God forbid you go over near their nest area.
Which I have to do for you.
You have to do, right. And they don't actually hurt you. They're not trying to hurt us. Don't get us wrong. And there's like 4 of them then. And they come and they buzz around your head like, hey, we're scaring you. Are you scared? And you're like, we're not going to do anything. And it's like they've gotten to the point where they mostly ignore you. They don't like me.
Yeah, they just
Still.
kind of hover around me. They don't really try to
Dive
scare
bomb.
me.
Yeah, they try to dive bomb me a little bit. They don't try to hurt you. They don't land on you or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they're more comfortable with her because they know her because she's
Yeah, they see
out
me
there every
every
day.
day.
I only go out there, maybe once or twice a week when I'm not working and in my regular full-time stupid job.
Yeah, I mean, you're out there at night, but
Yeah,
they're
they're already sleeping at night.
Yeah.
So, and then we gotta watch the poor bees because when Chava comes out, that's her mom's dog. He thinks they're jalapeno sky
raisins.
jalapeno sky raisins. He tries to get them, and we tell him no jalapeno sky raisins because he tries to eat them. Roxy could care less.
But yeah, we are trying to preserve the bees because we
Right.
know that they are,
They're beneficial and they help us stay alive in the long run.
Yeah. So,
So-
we do plant flowers out there. Like right
Purposely,
now,
yeah.
yes, right now there's climbing jasmine. There's the rose garden. I've got creeping jasmine. We've got the Mexican heather that you like so
Right,
much, the
right.
purple one. Problem is that a lot of these plants, with the exception of the roses, we had a cold snap a few weeks back.
I don't think they died. They just went dormant. Well,
So
they're
everything
coming
went
back.
dormant,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
starting to come back. But
So everything went dormant. So now we're trying to coax it along. Like, here, have some fish poop so you
Yeah.
can bloom and get these
Back to the
bees
fish
off
poop.
and
But
get
no, we are.
get these bees off our ass. You know?
yeah, it's and like I said, we really do try to work in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
We do actually.
Although the deer are pushing it.
but with the deer have literally, there's probably an acre of land back there that's untouched for the deer specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think the deer are being slighted. And
Yeah.
you actually give all the leftover food and everything are given to the raccoons and the opossums.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever else, other little chipmunks and
Yeah,
all
whatever
the
the heck
nastiness.
else is around.
Yeah, squirrels. They feed everything. So we actually not feed them by hand.
Yeah.
But we do leave food for them out in the back.
Well, that's kind of the deal I made with the wildlife. It's like, if I leave you guys leftovers, you're not going to go fishing and you're not going to get it in the garbage, right?
Right,
And
they
so
don't.
far that has been
It's
working out
worked.
great. I don't know
Easy
how
food
that worked
versus
out.
easy food versus food they got to work for. They're always going to take the easy way out. So,
Right.
but we do work. there's a good symbiosis here in this for you guys with the nature, even the bees.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the hawk.
The hawk is just an idiot.
He is. I wish I would have had it on video again. He was out there looking majestic as fuck, and he went flying, and he landed, and he crashed into a tree.
Again.
And then he
How is this hawk
I don't even know how he's still alive. It's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
So he made it, and he stopped, and he kind of fluffed himself, looked at me like I didn't do anything, and he flew away again and hit another tree. I was telling her just yesterday, oh my God, he flew and actually landed on a branch this time, Shiva, and he didn't crash into anything, but the branch was all by itself. No, it's him.
Are you sure it was Huey?
Yeah, he's always the only one out there, and he's very vocal, and I think he eats the mice and such, I guess.
If he can
I don't even
catch
know.
them?
I don't know. We think he's got something.
I think he's like, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, he's never
always
left the
crashing into
area,
things.
so he's always around here, and I think that's because there's so many frogs and snakes, and unfortunately, and things he can easily catch here.
He stopped trying to get fish.
He did stop. He used to come and try to sit on the edge of the fish, and he'd try to put his...
he would literally be like, trying to get in the water. The fish would be like, 4 inches under the water laughing at him.
Yeah. And that's why Shiva put that, I don't know if you've seen it, but we'll probably show it to you, the lights above the pond, just in case, because that's how the way that they kill is they swoop down and so we should put the lights there so we know he can swoop down.
Yeah, so he thought he was just going to be able to sit on the edge and go like that. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way, dude.
So we are symbiotic, but not that much. The hawk cannot have the fish.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, comments, like, subscribe, share, comment below. I can't even imagine what Mr. Captions is going to say about all this mess.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there will be lots of fish poop jokes.
Oh, Lord. Okay. But again, we'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions, if you have any things you do in your yard that you'd like us to know, maybe share with us.
Yeah.
We'd love to know some simple tricks you do to help us out kill sawgrass. Because we're not symbiotic with sawgrass either.
Yeah. Well, there's sawgrass, or maybe you guys have a better method of building ponds, half and halves, or have a better ideas on how to prevent things from getting into your pond that you don't want them to. Or you might know some plants that don't do well with fish water, Let us know. Yeah,
we're happy and open to conversation. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment below. It was wonderful talking to you. Have a great night.
Bye.